Good day everyone. In this video, I'll be demonstrating how you can create a class and object in Java. I will no longer discuss here in detail the meaning of some terminologies because prior to this recording, I upload a PowerPoint slide for general information about class and object. Here is the summary and flows and of this recording. Okay, first we have to know what is a class, and we have to declare a class. Then inside of the class we have two parts, which is instance variable and method. So we can able to create instance variable and method in this recording also. Then after that, once we establish our class, then we can create now an object. Then by creating an object, we can use new keyword, and there are two ways in initializing object: by reference variable and initialize object by method. Okay, so before creating our codes, let us see also what are what is our class look like. So in this video, we will create a human class. Okay, in the human class, we have bunch of instance variables. We have, I guess, 2, 4, 6, 8, 11 or more instance variables of this class. Just have last name, first name, middle name, birth year, birth month, birthday, barangay, city or town, province, weight, kg, height, meter. Then we have also methods in this class, which is the output name, output age, output birth year, output address, and output BMI. And these are also what are those methods can do. Okay, for output name, it outputs the last name, first name, and middle name. Okay, and also have the description for output age. It calculates the age by subtracting the current year to the birth year and output it. Then we have also the description for the method output birth year. It outputs the birth date with this format, August 16, 19. So we have month in words, and then we have this format 16 and 1992. Okay, we have followed by day and the year, and then we have the description for output address. It outputs the address with and this format. We start with barangay, city, town, and province, and we also have out description for output BMI. It calculates the BMI by using this formula. Okay, you have weight in kg because we have data in instance variable which just have a weight in kg divided by height meter, which have on our instance variable we have height in meter. So height in meter times height in meter, and output underweight. Okay, its output it outputs, I mean, in the output BMI, it outputs only underweight, normal, overweight, or obesity based on the category below. So if this is the calculation, below 18.5, it is underweight. 18.5 to 24.9, we have normal, and then 25 to 29 is overweight, and then 3.0 and above is obesity. So these are the descriptions of our methods in our human class. Okay, so um, after creating our class, there will be also objects that we are going to incorporate, or we are going to create. Okay, so based on our human class, we can create our first object, and we will name it object 1, and these are the data that can be initialized in our object by this is the following. Okay, so another object 2, and this is the data on object for object 2 for human class. Okay, so this is our graphical information about our class and object. So next thing that we are going to do is to open our editor or IDE, and then we will going to make code out of this visual representation. Okay, so I'll be minimize our slide and open Eclipse. I will create a new project for us, and I will create project name demo project demo class and object. I'll create finish. I'll click finish and then don't create. So I have here now the project for demo class. Okay, so based on our classification, based in our classification, these are the name of our class, which is human. So we were going to create that one. Create new and Java class. So we will create human. Okay, always remember that the first letter of the name of our class should be capitalized. Okay, then finish. So in Eclipse, it's automatically generate the code for class. If you're not using Eclipse, it will just directly just have that file. So once if that is said, that you need to write your we call it the declaration of your class. So to declare class manually, first we have to write public. So in the next topic, there will be a discussion what is that all about, what is public. Right now we will just leave it as is, and that is public. Then we have to write also the class. Okay, that is you're telling that you're creating a class on our compiler. Then next is the name of our class. Okay, remember that the name of your class is the same name of your file. Okay, we name it human.java. So the name of the class, it should be the same, okay, of your file name. So you have class human, and don't forget left brace and right brace. So this is how you are going to declare the a class. So we have the name of the class. It should be first is capitalized because the file name is capitalized. So you need to have a keyword like class and a keyword of public. So basically, you only have public, which is the access modifier. Next video, it will be discussed what is those other public or access modifier. We have the keyword class, telling that the compiler that you are creating, you are going to create a class, and then this is the name identifier of the class, which is the human. Okay, a class has two parts. Okay, we have instance variable. Okay, and we have instance method. Okay, so first that we're going to do is all the instance variable based on our um, plan. These are the following instance variables. So instance variables are the is a it is a regular variable in your previous um, programming, but this variable is associated with the class. It's the one that represents the class, that tells the class. So you can store information with this instance variable. So instance variables is associated with inside of the class. So it belongs to the class. Okay. So there is a definition also on the PowerPoint presentation, the detailed information about the instance variable. So now we will going to create instance variable. So it's the same thing on our previous our variables that we have to declare the data type and the name of our variable. So those are the primitive data types like integer, float, boolean, double, okay, and strings. Those are the data types we can use in Java. So based on your names or the kinds of data that we're going to use on your class, it depends on you are going to adjust it on your data type. Okay, so data type and then the name of your variable. So we're going to create last name, first name, middle name, birth year, birth month, birthday, barangay, city or town, province, weight, kg, and height meter. Okay, so this is our variables, instance variables. So we have string L name, string F name, string M name, and we have another one. What are those? We have int birth year, birth month. So we have to separate it because sooner we will uh, we're going to have a calculation for age based on our classification of our method. Okay, so we have int birth year, int birth month, int birthday. What are those another instance variable in this class? We have also string barangay, city or town, and province. So string barangay, string city or province, and string. Sorry, that is not city or province, but city and or municipality, mon or town, and we have string province. You know already why this data is string. It is because it is when you type information about barangay, it's all about more on letters and numbers. So that's why string. Okay, we need here why it is integer because it is only the number that we are going to ask. Okay, so that's it, and we have another one which is double data type, which is height and weight. Why double? Because they have a floating point numbers. We have decimal or point. Uh, we have points or we have, for example, we have 35.2. So we have point 2. We have the float or a point, a decimal place in our value. So that's why we need to have double. So double weight in kg. Okay, and double height meter. So those are the instance variables that or the data needed for our class. Okay, so once we have now the instance variable, we can access it to some of our instance method or method. Okay, so what are those classification? Okay, we will make it one by one for us to really uh, understand. Okay, method is the behavior in of the object because you know already that object is an instance of a class. So whatever, because class is a blueprint of your object, meaning you are making here a logical representation what the object can do. So the object can have this information based on the instance variables of the class, and method is the behavior, what the object can do later. So right now, based on the classification of our class, these are the classification. We have five methods in our class human, and these are the description of the five methods. We will create each method, right? Um, um, One at a time so that you will not lose on your focus. Okay, so we will start with output name, then we will also start followed by address and birth year and BMI and age. So um okay, that's it na. So before we proceed to object, we have to finish first the classification of our class. So based on our classification, we are now half into. We already created our class human. We only have also we already created our instance variables like in this on this in this on the specification of our class UML class diagram. So all we need to do is to create a method by this definition of that method. Okay, first is output name. Okay, so okay, this is how you're going to um, declare method in Java. So first is you have also public. Okay, this is an access modifier, so later you will know what is the meaning of that. And the next is the data type. Since we only output this information, not to return it, so every method in Java has a return type. But if in case you don't need a return type, that is why we have to use void data type. It is a data type that doesn't require us to return. Okay, so later on also you will understand on what is method. So right now we are going to use void. Okay, So because we don't need to create, um, we don't have a return type of this. So next video, I'll be giving you an example of some return types in methods that have a return types. Right now, we will just stick into void so that you will have no problem in you don't have any problem in following me. Okay, so public void, and then what is the name of our method? The first method that we're going to create is output name. Okay, so output name, and also this is the description for output name. It outputs the last name, first name, and middle name. Okay, so right now we create the name of the method, output name. Okay, so this is how you are going to declare method. First is the access modifier, and then the data type. Right now we are using the void data type as you over. Okay, so you don't have to return something here, and then the name of the method. Okay, it should be one word. Okay, so just if you don't have, if you have two words, then just make it one word. Okay, and simply add if you're using snake casing, camel casing. So it in my case I'm using the camel casing. Okay, then don't forget to put here the open close parenthesis for parameter list. So later you have to understand also what they are the parameter list. Right now in here, muna siya, the method name. Inside of this one is the method block where you can express here what this method is all about. Okay, what this method can do. So these are a bunch of codes that when this output name will execute this bunch of code here inside of this left brace and right brace will also run. Okay, based on the classification on our output name, it only outputs the last name, first name, and middle name. So all we need to do is just output that one, system out that print line. Okay, the name is okay. The name is okay. Then add okay. We have last name, so we have L name. Okay, plus don't forget to get comma, so concatenation plus F name, another concatenation, and then put add space and um, M name. Okay, M name. Okay, then we have space. Okay, so this is we call it some method. Okay, we have now method for this class, output name method. Okay, so I want to test it. Okay, based on some in programming, we need to whatever we did or do of something, we need to check it. So based on our flows, we need to finish all these classifications prior for creating an object. But I want here to create first an object for this human so that we can check it and we can also see if that is really going. Okay, so right now what we did is so far uh, we we have declared a class, meaning we created a class. Then after that, creating a class, inside of this left braces and right braces of the class, we have two parts of our class, which is the instance variable and method. We have here the instance methods that defines the class, and also this is the method that really have what is the behavior of this class. Right now, we will try to check by checking it in our class. If that is working properly, we will going to create our um, object. Okay, so we will try to create our object. So now we will create an object. Then after creating an object, we initialize it by the use of the new keyword. And after that, we are going to initialize also some data. So meaning initialize a past data from that object. Okay, be using of this class definition. Okay, so in Java, we can create object in here on this class, but I want it to create a separate file for our main class. Okay, main class, so that we can access this human class. Okay, to be much more organized. So right now we will going to create a class main that holds the object for human. I'll create and I will name it to main class or main. So to make this main class, we will have a method also. Okay, we don't have here instance variable for this main class. All we need to do is to create, we will use the Java main class, a main method. Like in C++, we have main method also. Every programming languages has its main method. You can create bunch of methods in that languages, especially in Java, but there is only one method that only can make your program run, because that will the compiler will look into that main method, and if that whatever inside of that main method, it will execute. Right now in our project we don't have any yet main method, so that is why when we run it, or we can run if we were going to run our program in our project, you have an error, selection does not contain a main type. So meaning the compiler detects that in our project we don't have a main, so this program cannot, this project cannot run. Okay, so now we will use the main method. Okay, okay. Again, what is the keyword? Public. Again, that is modifier. Public static. That is also the keyword. What is the later on? You will know what is the static method. Static. And then we have okay, public static void main. Okay, public static void main, and then string argument. Okay, you know what is known, what is void. Okay, void is okay, you know that there is no return type. So now when we run a program, run, okay, as you can see, there's no longer an error because the compiler detects that there is a main method. Only lacking here is that we don't have any code execution or inside of these main methods, but the compiler knows that there is a main method on our project, so that's why that we will have, okay, that's why that this project will execute. For example, we will do something like system out, that print line, and we will output something, hello world. So when we run this one, it outputs hello world. So it automatically knows the project, that this project has a main method, and that is what we call the to print hello world. Now we want that this main method has an access of the human. Okay, it's very easy because these two are in one folder, in one directory, or what we call one package. Okay, so that means that's very easy to look into. So how you're going to connect it, you just call the name of the class by just typing human. Okay, that is the name of the class. The second one is the name of your object. So based on our design or specification, the name of the first object is my object 1, with this one, my object 1. So we can have my object 1 is equal to, we have the new keyword. That means you are telling the compiler that you are creating a new instance of the class human. Okay, and this is now the keyword. Okay, by this one code, this is what we call initializing and declaring initializing object. Okay, declaration um, declaration and initialization of object. Okay, so we can also split into this one. We can create another object like human, my object 2. You can have that one. This is what we call only declaration, or the declaring that there is an object to a human, but you don't have yet initialization. To initialize it, we can have like this one. My object 2 is equal to new human, and this is what we call initialization. Initialization. Okay, so there are two things, two ways now, initialization. So it's up to you. What are those? So it's up to you. It's if this in one line codes, you can declare and initialize an object, or you can only have multiple lines. First, you have to declare it, declaration, and next is initialization. It's up to you guys. So for me, it's nice to have like this one because only have one line. Okay, first is you are telling that you are accessing the human class. Okay. Next, second one is you have to name what is your object, and after that, initialize it by using the new keyword. And we have here human, and this is what we called. Okay, why there is an open close parenthesis, because you are calling the constructor. So now we have another set of video for what is a constructor is all about. So right now, this is what only the keyword on how you are going to declare initialize object. Okay. So now we can reference, you can initialize reference by using a variable. Okay. So what means that you can add data to your object. Okay. Based on our class, this is how what is the we hold the instance variables that can hold data on when there is an object. So by that we can also, for example, access it by or we can have um, we can have initialize object by reference variable. So that's when we have to initialize it having data. So you just use the name of the object and use that, and you can see on, if you're using an IDE, you can see all of those instance variables available on that class human. You can see here human, 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 human. Okay, and those are the things like barangay, birth date, birth month, okay, birth year. Also, we have here open semicolon, tells you what are the data types of that instance variable. Like barangay is a string, birthday is an int, May month is an int, birth year is an int, city or town is a string, F name is a string, height mi, height is a double, L name is string. So all those things are here. Know already that these are needed for our definition, class definition for human. So it's very easy and most convenient if you are using an IDE. If since you are some of you are using phone, you don't have this feature, but all you need to do is whatever you have in there, in here on your class, you can access it in here, but you have to manually check it. Okay, like di hindi pala dirida, you can also have a hint here, like I can have L name here, and I'll just get enter. Okay, and assign the value, initialize the value for last name, and we have here Alejo. So this is what they call initialize, add data to your object through instance variable, because you are adding it through instance variable. So you access the instance variable through your object by using the dot operator and assigning it. So you are accessing my object L name and assigning it to Alejo. Mhm. Okay, so you can add also my object one that M name is equal to, for example, John, and we have my object to one m name is equal to Torres. Okay, so those we accessed those instance variable by just having an object and initializing it some information. That is why we can also access the method. So we have only method here, output name. So it can output the name, the method, my object one, and we have here output method name. So that means when we access this output, it will run what is inside of this output method, output name. So based on the definition of the output name, it is output this the last name, first name, and middle name. That's why when we run our program, it outputs the name is Alejo Jan Torres. That is why, because we initialized some data through instance variable. What if we don't have, okay, we don't have that one. So we don't have initialized data through instance variable. So what happened? When we run it, you have here the name is null, null, null. It is because we don't have data, we don't have initialized data on our object. So when we don't have data in our object, we only have our object. We have object, we can access all the methods and data of methods and instance variable of that class by through object. But if you output some like this one, you don't have data, you have null because you don't have set it. Okay, so that is why. So it's nice to have, in order to output something, you need to have in a assigned value or instance of some assigning or initialize some data of some instance variable. So also, what if it will, okay, since for this programming it's the top to bottom approach. So what if this one is you first output access the output name, then followed by creating initialization of the variable name, f name, and middle name after the initialization of output name. So what will happen is it will output the information, or it will just have a null. So in order to figure it out, I will run the program, and you can see you have the name is null, 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 even though you already have this data initialized of the sum variable. My my answer to that is this: you first output the output name prior to the initialization of data. That is why when you output, first you output, there is no data initialized. So blanco pa tong last name, first name, middle name on your class definition. Once after the output, you already set it. So that is why if we can output it again, because that is possible, look, that is also the good advantage of OOP, because we have to minimize the code redundancy. Even though no, we output a lot, but we don't add some of codes, we only have to use again the output name method. We know already that the definition of output name method is to output data based on the definition, output this last name, first name, middle name. So in regular, we need to output again. We use this code and then output it again, which is time consuming and code redundancy. Right now, we only have access it again. First, we access it with no no initialized value or instance variable, and after we have initialized value, and then we access again the output name. So what will happen? It will output twice, but we have first is the name. What the name is? We have null because we don't have those data initialized. After this output, we initialize it with the last name of Alejo, first name of John, and middle name of Torres. Then after those initialization, we output again. And we access again the method output name. So that is why we are already this kind of output. So you know that it's easy to reuse some methods by just calling it an R method. So you know already that before prior to output something or use the method, you should initialize data first before outputting so that to minimize this error. Okay. Then also we can have multiple object in one class. Okay. So whatever your object is not different to your other object. Okay. So that is why if you have my object 2 is equal to 2 dot L name is equal to kakas, okay, and then my object 2 dot F name is equal to Jillian Rossi, then my another for middle name my object 2 dot M name is equal to a cost. So this L name that you access it on your class definition in here, even though you are only have one last name, first name, and middle name, but you can access it how many times long as you have the same, not the same object. This one is intended only for object one, and this one is object for object two. That is why when we output also the output name, my object two that output name, you can have also an output for that, and those data is never conflict has a conflict because this one is for class object 1 and this one is for object 2. You can see we can output, we only output 3 times only for our only output 3 times in our class. Okay, but as you can see here, uh, that is also the good benefit of OOP code reusability, okay, and redundancy to limit um, code redundancy. So based on that one, we have initialized some instance variable. Then after that, we use also the output name. So that is what we called access data for instance for reference instance variable. So we have another one. We can initialize data through method. Okay, some of those are using setters and getter. Okay, so it's very easy. For example, we can add. We don't have that classification or definition in here, but for the purpose of demonstration, this is what we call based on our this is example of okay. I will close it. And this is initialized object data for object by reference variable. So this is it. Now I want you to show initialize object by method. Initialize data. Okay. So some variables. Okay. So instead of using directly on the that last name middle name, all we need to do is to pass data to method. So we can create a method like public void again because we don't have to return type void set uh, your name set name. So set name we have here the name of the variable. Okay, to declare the variable we have the public, the access modifier, the data type, and the name of the variable. So instead of accessing those information the from the we called it from the instance variable, we use it as a parameter list to set data. Okay, so we can set like for example um, string a string B and string C. Those are the things. So we need, because an output name you only have, we need last name, first name, and middle name. So instead of accessing it on individual instance variable, we set it through a method. So we can identify that L name is equal to A. So whatever we input on this parameter list for first parameter, that is equivalent to, it will assign a value for last name. And for F name, that is for B, and M name is equal to C. So the user uses this one, um, it will just no longer access it individually on the okay on each instance variable, but it can directly in here on the parameter list of the method. So we have, this is how you can define your parameter list on your method. Every the list of the parameters is separated with comma, and the same thing with us declaring a variable. Since this is a holder, each list on the parameter list is a holder of information. That is why we declare what is the data type and the name of that variable. Okay, so that is why when we add this on the first parameter, it is an A, will it will assign it to L name, and then F name for B, and M name equals to C. So we will try it to use it in here. Instead of accessing it, I'll be creating an object tree, which is for an example only. So I will create human class, and then my object tree is equal to new human. So now, instead of my object tree dot L name, now I will be using that set name. As you can see here on the definition of the set name, we have string A, string B, string C. Okay, but to really understand, since if you're using the IDE, you can see here some hint what to do. So if you are the programmer, you have to define it. What is A, what is B, and what is C. So some of it is they will not use A, B, C, but specify what is for A, what is for B, and what for C. So for example, I will name it set L name, set M name, F name, set M name. Okay, so that is why we change it to A for set L name, set F name, and set M name. So that is why when we use it in here, that set, we know this the first is last name, the second parameter is F name, and the third parameter is M name. So that is why when we use that one, we can have in here, for example, you can have an example of, for example, a last name Rizal, and we have Jose, uh, uh, Alonso. So this result is assigned to last name. This Jose is assigned for first name, and Alonso is for middle name. So you don't need not to use the instance variable just to refer to initialize value. You use this method so that when you output this information, output name, um, output name, you have already this information. So when you output that, right click, run file. So we already, what the name is Rizal Jose Alonso. Okay, so we output the same thing. The output lang gihapon siya, the same manner of the previous object. but in here you already know that you initialize data through method. Okay, so question, what if you are going to use you simultaneously or the same time you use this kind of technique also and also create also use this technique also, katong ganiha, my object tree is equal to L name is equal to, for example, Bonifacio, Bonifacio, and then my object tree f name is equal to Andres, and then my object tree for middle name is equal to, okay, wala, I don't know, I don't have data for his last middle name. So like that one. So what data will prevail? Is it from the set name? Okay, in this example, in this object, we use two kinds of technique. First is through the installation of data through method, and here installation of data through instance variable. So what will prevail? So to do that, let us run the program and we see what will prevail. So as you can see here, it prevails. The name is Bonifacio. It prevails the last time that we had Bonifacio address, and then we have Alonso. So what happened? Going back to the concept of programming, it will start from top to bottom. In here, we start initializing data through method, finding last name to Rizal, first name to Jose, and middle name for Alonso. Now in here, use again the same. You analyze you initialize last name through variable, instance variable, and you put it Bonifacio. That is why Rizal is omitted. It will omitted, and now change it to Bonifacio. The same thing with f name. Whatever the previous data for f name and the previous data for f name is Jose, it will omitted because there is no value of f name which is Andres. Now we don't even um, um, set for m name, but we have already a value for m name which is Alonso. So whatever the value for the middle name will be what will just stay. That's why when the outputs Andres Bonifacio Andres Alonso. It's because the default value or the value of middle name of object tree has Alonso. So if that is if meaning on the bottom part, who is at the bottom part will be the last value. So whatever at the top part will be omitted. So if that in case like this one, if this method variable set is using methods is in here the bottom part, so what will happen, it will just omit the first value Bonifacio and Andres, and it will carry over the new data for LL name and M name. So that is why when you run the program, it's Rizal Jose Alonso. So the question is, there is no um, those techniques are the same in use. It depends on you. Where is the last value? Okay, where is located? So there is no power, or we call it a. I will use the instance variable because that is the most one important. I will use the this one, which is very important. No, the two is the same. It's up to you. Okay, so that is probably uh, we can have an initialize object by method and initialize object by reference. Also, we have already used new object, so more or less we already discussed all the things in here for the summary. So, so it's already done on what is object and class, but I want it to continue because based on our classification, this is that all we need to do. Okay, so it's good already. We already have output name. Okay, so we can also we already add another method. It's not included with our definition for our class human, which is the set name, in order for us to explain to you what is instance to have an instance or access instance, or we can set data from method um, or instance variable. So right now it's okay now for output name. Uh, I will continue with the output address. Okay, so we will have the output address. So same thing, public void output address, and then output uh, system out that print line uh, she or okay, the address is is at Saman. Okay, so the first thing that we have is the barangay, and we have comma, and we have city or town. I add also comma, and we have also province. So those are the things we have for output. So once it's up to you on accessing on our object. It's up to you what the kind of type you are going to use. Okay, I will be if that is object one dot barangay. Yeah, okay, this is what called for method mani for instance variable. So matuog. Okay, my object one is equal to city or town. I will use Tayasan. Okay, then my object one that province. Okay, my object one that province is equal to Negros Oriental. Okay, so still the same. So all we need to do is to output it by accessing this method by object one dot output address. So output address, when you run the project, run file, you see the name. Okay, the address is at Matuog Tayasan Negros Oriental. Okay, it's working. Okay, or we can set no we can set a method for accessing it, so that we don't need not to access on the method. We can set it by creating another method which is not included in the definition of this human, but for us to really go further of our learning. So point void set address. Okay, those are also string. So we have parameter list, so string set barangay. Okay, string set city or town, and string set province. So we have here, then assign those three on the particular instance variable. So we have barangay is equal to set barangay, city or town is equal to set city or town, and then we have province is equal to set province. So that's it, no? So we have here a method that sets data instead of accessing in the method. So in OOP, you have a lot of things to consider, and the way of accessing it on the database, on the data, an object is very fun. Okay, so in here we can have also, like, instead of using instance variable, we can use method to set data. My object 2 is that set address. We can have set barangay, so it's string, so we have quotation. Same Malaga, we have Pindoy, we have Negros Oriental. So to output it, for set address Malaga Pindoy. Yes, that's correct. What is happening? Set address. I have error because I don't even save the human class. The next is we have to output it. My object 2 that output address, save, run, run file. So we have here object. Okay, we have object. Okay, we have Malaga Bindoy. Okay. For us to really know, it's the we can set here uh, output our output here some. Okay, my system out that print 9 for our output. Okay, this is for object 1, my object 1. Object 1, um, and in here, this is object 2, but prior to this, I'll slash n for have new line, which slice, and this is for object 3. Sorry for that. Okay, so that we have a nice output. Yeah. Okay, this is for object 1, this is for object 2, and this is for object 3. Okay, that's it. To have much nicer to have like here. mm, okay, like that one for us to really understand. Okay, okay, for us to run, which much or nicer to organize our file. Okay, so this is for object 1, and this is for object 2, and this is for object 3. Okay, so it's working, you know? So we have here the class definition, we have output, we have output name, output address. Okay, next thing for our class definition. Okay, we have to output the, okay, we have to output the birth year. Okay, so this is how we're going to output the birth year. So the definition for the output of birth year is it outputs the birth date with this format August 16, 1922. Okay? Yes. So we have here set of the we call it the month with has um dili na siya with number, no? So since we don't have birth month is integer, so we were going to convert our integer to a string. So let's have our class definition. So first we have to use output birth year. Okay, so we have here public void again and output um, birth year. This birth year, but it's birth date, I guess. Yeah, it's that output birth year, but output birthday. Oh, so output birthday. Okay, to be specified, not birth year, birthday. Okay. So that's it outputs like system out that print line. Um, the birthday the birthday is okay, on is on. Okay, we know already the output, no? First is um, the month string, and then we have here uh, space, and then we have the date, right? The date is uh, birthday. Then we have a comma, so we separate, and then the birth year, right? So the month string, because we have to convert, we have a series of if statement here, for us to consider, because we only have an integer for birth month. Okay, so all we need to do is to create a variable month string. So meaning whatever it is, whatever we have an if else statement for us to, if that is 1, that is January, if that's 2 is February, if 3 is March, if 4 is April, 5. Okay. Okay. So na good. So all we need to do is have an if statement. If okay, so we have here birth month is equal to 1. So you know already that that one is January. So the value for month string is equal to January. Okay. I have else if statement. Okay, so just copy and have else if, and if that is 2, and that will be February. Okay, it's coding is fun. Okay, it's already, if you know already, that means coding is fun. And we have 3, just coding is copy pasting also. But as long as you know what is you are going to copy paste. 3, and then we have 4 is that is April, and that is 5, and if that is March, February, March, April, May, sorry, for May. So coding is fun. It's fun. Just to enjoy yourself while coding. So that's my advice. 6, that is June, and we have 7, that is July, and we have here 8, that is August, and we have 9 is September, and we have 10, that is we insert, okay, and that is October, and this is 11, that is November, and last is 12, and December. Also we have else, as you can see here, it is having an error. There are two ways to do that. It's either you set a default value of quotation blank to make it whatever. That means if there is no in our if statement, there is a default value which is blank. Okay. Or you can have, as you can see on our if else statement, we can have also else, and we can also month string is equal to blank. There are only two ways for that problem. It's up to you what kind of solution that you are going to use. Okay, but the two it's the same. Okay, to minimize the error. So that's it. Probably that's it. So we will try to use that one. We already have that the class definition. So whatever your birth month, so the month string will also output. It depends on what is the value of the birth month. Okay, so go to the main.java, and I will go to the object one. My object one that birth month is, my birth month is August, so it's 8. My object two one, sorry, my birthday is equal to 16. My object one also that B year is equal to 1992. I'm old enough already. So we will try to output our birth date by accessing that method. My object one that output method. Sorry, that is birthday. Yeah, that's correct. Birthday. Okay, birthday. Yeah. No, sorry for that. Birthday. Copy and paste it here. Okay, birthday. So we will try to run it if that is correct. If so, this will predict to August 16, 1992. Okay, so object 2. Okay, birthday is on August 16, 1990. So which is working. Okay, it is working. Okay, so birthday is on August. So we type 8 here, but we manage to output August. We have 16 and 1992. Okay, now we can also create a method that sets information like for that one. So it's very easy now. So to set public because we don't want to always access it on an instance variable. You can also set it on method. Make a public void set birth birthday. Okay, we have three parameters also with int. No, int set birth month, comma, int set birthday, comma, int set birth year. I also set this information. Uh, B month is equal to set birth month. B day is equal to set birthday, and B year is equal to set B year. So this set. So we can use this method for setting the data. We will use it on our method in here. Okay. So my object 2 that set birth date, you can have 10 31 1992 set birth date. Okay, we wouldn't even save it this one, that's why we have an error. Then after that, we managed to output it. My object 2 that output birthday. So that is 10 is October 31, 1992. As you can see, if you use instance variables as to use instance variable for initialization, it has a lot of method. Compare it in using method. No, it's very we call it we will try. I will change it also kanina. So much lesser instead of using this. Okay, no. So it's lesser gid siya ang line of codes. Okay, so let's run it the program. Run as Java. And see on module 2, we have birthday is on October 31, 1992, which is correct also. It's still the same. So output, we have also two different initialization of data on our variable. So I guess we already have output name, output address. Okay. So next is the BMI. We have the BMI. It calculates the BMI by using this formula. Weight, kg. Okay, so that's it. And then we have also if statement after whatever this. Okay, so I guess we are going to do that one. Okay, so output BMI. We go to our human class. Okay. So time to time, if you are going to go to the class definition, it's really magically that you can see. I have already created this bunch of codes. without knowing that this the codes are almost 100 line of codes. So just enjoy working and programming, so one step at a time. Okay, so we will continue. We have public void um, output BMI, and that's it. Okay, so it outputs only what? It outputs only um, if it's overweight, obesity. Okay, so these are only the things that outputs only underweight, normal, overweight, and obesity. So we have to do that. So if at first we have to calculate the BMI. Okay, so we have int BMI, that is double. Sorry for that, the double BMI. And BMI, the you know already the formula for that, based on the class definition. We have weight over height times height. Okay, in meter, so that is weight weight kg, right? I don't know what is that. Sorry for that. Weight kg and height ml. Why ml? It's m lang. Meter m. Weight kg. Okay, then height m times height m. Uh, and then add is this one. Okay, so that's it. So we have na BMI based on the calculated data. This is our things. If below 85, below, okay, so that's it. So all we need to do is have an if statement. Add an if statement. So we have an add an if statement, and output some in here. um, I will also have string BMI category. Okay, and also I use the if statement, so we'll use BMI. If BMI is less than 18.5, okay, if that is 18.5, that is underweight. So we have BMI category, category is equal to underweight, since this is the class definition. If it's below 80.5, that is underweight. So that's why if less than 18.5, that is underweight. Okay, then if less than 9, if less than 25, if this then if underweight is less than 18.5, then the less than of 25 is normal or healthy. So that's mean that next is else if BMI is less than 25.0, that is the BMI category is equal to, what is that? That is normal, healthy. Okay, else if it is wrong. Else if next thing is it that is below 29, it is below 30. If below 30 is overweight. Okay, so else if BMI is below 30.0, that is the BMI category is equal to, okay, the BMI category is equal to normal. Okay. BMI category is overweight. Overweight. Okay. Then last, if else or greater than, that is obesity. So that is our else, obesity. So our else is equal to obesity. Okay. Obesity. Okay, sorry, that's what. Obesity is equal to obesity. Okay. Well, that's it. No, then the output. This is output system out that print line. The BMI is plus. Okay, BMI category. Okay, so that's it. Or we already created this BMI. We have the calculation. Whatever the calculation, whatever the result of the calculation, we have an if statement. What category is that BMI belongs to? So that is why whatever it is, it will output. So we will try. We will try. We go to our object. For object one, my object one that um, weight is equal to 85, and my object one that height is 171, 1.71, sorry, 1.71 for meter, right? For meter. So I will output here my object one that output what we have output BMI. So output, we will try what is my BMI category. Run Java. Okay. In here, I am overweight. Okay, the BMI is overweight based on my. Okay. So let me. We will try also. No, we will try to output the age. Before the BMI, so we can know what is the calculated BMI. We can do that. We can do that by outputting that. We can change this one. BMI is okay. So we can output like um, a concatenation. We have open close um, parenthesis, no, um, and plus the BMI, uh, and then plus that one. Okay, sorry, that one. Okay, so that is the result. Run. Okay, it's with 29.067111. So that is why it's 29.0. So based on our tally, 29.0 overweight. Okay, obesity na ako 3.0. So almost obesity. Oh my goodness. Almost obesity on my size. Almost obesity. And 0 is 29, that is overweight. Okay, that's great. Okay, so our based on the category, it's working. Working. Let us try another one. But before that, we will going to create another method for set. Okay, to set it. So public void set BMI. Um, we have double set height in meter, comma double set weight in kg. Okay, so to output that one, to set that one, um, height m is equal to this one, and we have also weight weight kg is equal to set weight kg. I guess that's it. We go to our method for object 2. To set it, my object 2 that set BMI. Yes, that's what. For height, I think it's uh, it's 1.45, right? That one. This is what we call kg. You have 50, right? That one. So what is that belongs? Output using the my object to that output BMI. Right, that one. We are concentrating for object 2, right? Run as job application. Okay. Okay, BMI is normal, healthy, 2.3.77, 2.3. We can see our category. If 2.3, yes, that's 18.5 to 24.9. That is normal, healthy. So we are working, our class definition is working properly based on our, okay, so let's get, so also almost done. Okay, we have already those methods, names, output name, output per tier, but address, and all we need to do is output age. Okay, so output age. So based on the output age, this is the definition for the output. It calculates the age by subtracting the current year to the birth year and the output. Okay, yes. Okay, it's very easy, right? So going back here, so it's ready. So we are now on, oh, congratulations, we have 102 line of codes. Okay, so Karon, we will now go um, to the age. Okay, so it's still the same. Public void output age. Based on the definition, we only have to know the current year of. So we have here int current year. Okay, just simply know that this is 2/20/2021, right? So it's basically, if you will just do that one, you have int age is equal to, you can do that one, current year minus birth year. So just output directly system out that print line, the age is at okay, uh, uh, age is age uh, years old. Probably that's automatically, it's currently just subtract the current year to the birth year. So going back to the main, by doing that, automatically we already set the value of birth year 1992, which is all we need to do is use the method my object 1 dot output age, output age. Right now, then what we need to do is run the file, and so we have age is 29. The age is 29 years old. Okay, so that's great, but based on my birthday, it is on August 16, 1992. Now, our current year, if we will going to make it strict, I am still 28, not 29, because the date for today is June um, 10. Then, no, just June 11. So, June 11. So, my birth is not yet. Uh, so, meaning my age is only 28. not not 29. So we will going to make it much more nicer with our uh, with our with our this one output age. Based on this definition, because this is only the definition of our method. Whatever the definition of your method, based on here, it's subtracting the current year to the output. Oh, this is now correct. But we can solve that problem since there is an issue with that specific definition. So we can use it. We can do that by creating another one. We will make it much more nicer. Void out. No, sorry. Void output age version 2. Okay. With version 2. Then we will going to know first we want our program to know what is the current year, what is the current month, and what is the current day, so that when it is the your birthday is already passed, you already know the exact your exact age. But if the birthday is not yet coming, not yet so it's still coming, so it's still you will have your exact age, like like dili siya paras ganiya that I'm still on August but I have already 29, I'm still 28, still wala pa man abot unto August. So all we need to do is to upgrade the definition of your output age. So we have here current year still the same, have 2021, and we have current day, a month is equal to 6, I guess, yes, and the current day is 11. Okay. Manual, this is for manual only. Okay, for manual, and then after that all we need to do is to have this if statement, have the if statement. Okay, so we know that if uh, the current month, if the current month, what is the current month for the debt? If the current month is less than um, B month, B month, so meaning this is your birth um, month is still coming. Okay, the current month, which is for example 6, is less than your birth month, which is 8. So that is true. So meaning birth month is still coming. So if that is still coming, okay, the age, so I will create the variable age. In age, the calculation for that is age is equal to current year minus current year minus birth year minus 1. Why minus 1? Because it's still coming pa man. Still coming. Okay. So if still coming, if birth month is still coming, minus 1, still, for example, I am now 29, because if we're going to subtract it directly, it will, I'm going to 29, but still, my birth month is still coming. That is why I'm subtracted minus 1, so that makes it 28. That's it. Else, so that's mean else, so meaning um, birth month, okay, on, uh, so on or after the birth month. So we will check it on or after the birth month. Okay, if it is on, we will check the day. What is the day for that month so that we can direct. But if after after the birth month, meaning nauman na siya. Okay, so after that, before, sorry, that is not before. But before, if before, that is our problem. before, so or before, on or before. So because if that is before, meaning it's automatically. So we will check first on or else. So if current month, if current month, okay. So if current month is equal to birth month, so that means this is on birth month, and sa else na to mao ni siya ay before birth month. Okay. So kung before birth month, na before ng mong birth month sa current date, so meaning automatically maingon na ka na age, no? Um, age is equal to current year minus uh, birth year. So nalabay naman ang bulan. For example, kuha na yung birth months, May, April. So automatic na siya. Di na makag-edad maghihap og adlaw. But if the current month is the same with the birth month, so karon na pod, we have to check naman pod if ang current day is greater than your birthday. Kung sa kani siya, this one is birthday is still coming. Okay, so if that's still coming, the age is equal to current year minus B year minus 1. But else, if age is meaning um, on and before, and on or before birthday, so that is why automatically age is equal to current year minus year. That's it. Okay. So all we need to do is to make it much more. Um, it will automatically have more logic in our program. So to solve this one, I know we will set the value of 0 or may have that error. Okay. So right now, so all we need to do is to output the same thing in here. Output system of years old. So all we need to do is instead of using the output age, I will using my object one that output age version 2. As you see the difference for those two. In on my the other one, automatically I'm 29 years old, but on the version 2, I am still 28 years old. She's good because still I am my birthday is August 16, 1992 to be exact. So inana siya. Okay, it's still the same. Let us check all the as angle, and we will add another one in here, and we will output the same thing in here. Um, but right now we will change it because this is month of 6 and 12, right? We set the value of right now of 11. So that means it will output the answer will be still the same 29 years old sa karaan na to, but when reversion to 28 years old. Why 28 years old still? In why 28? It is because Um, it is because of this. Oh no, if this because still it's still coming 12. But if we will change it to 11, okay, that is the time. It is now 29. Oh, what's 29? No, it's not working. 29, 6 and 11, right? It's 11, right? Right now it's 11, yeah, 11. So our class definition 11. If that is the case, the current day is 11. So 11 is less than 11. So automatically it's the age is, yeah, current year. That's correct. But what happened is has an error. Still on 28 years old instead of having up 11. So what happened? Current day. Yeah, it's current day. The current day versus the birthday. Your birthday is 11. Yeah, so it's 6. It's 6 else. Okay, what happened? Supposedly it will work in 29 because it's 11. Birthday is 11. Birthday is 11, right? June 11, 1992. So that is today. Yeah, yeah. So what happened? Let's fall into this one. System out that print line. I will check it. Print system out that print line. Hello. I'll be working on it. So it out hello stuck up in there. Okay, it's not into there. Current month is less than current month. So wala siya dire, ari siya dire. So it's because birth month is equal to birth month. So in here, you don't tell me it's in there. Run as. Okay, sorry for my I am using the reference to one. Sorry for that. Okay, whew, my bad. That's object two. Sorry for that. So that's what's really into if you are. That's 29 years old. Yes, that's 29 years plus 11. Yeah, square correct. Just remove this one on my class. It's working. No, there's no problem in our codes. We're just accessing the wrong object name for our. Okay, that is why. So we have 20 years old. See why? Because 11. It's 11. Okay, but if we will change it into 12, since tomorrow is your birthday and today still not your birthday, you are still 28. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so I guess it's working properly, right? It's working properly with our human class. So this one is only default. So default one. We can change it based on the current one. We'll just add for version 3 of it. For version 3 of it, it's automatically the class knows already the current year and the current month. So all we need to do for me is I will use to import our calendar, a class, available class calendar in Java. So I'll import this one. Import Java util that calendar, so I can access the calendar of the computer. Then after that, I will be setting this one instead of in here. I will be automatically the system knows what is the date for today. You know already that this is calendar that get instance, and then we have that get, and then we have also calendar that year. You know that that is the year of the calendar, and for the month still the same calendar that get instance, that get, and then we have calendar that month, and plus one. Why? Because it starts with zero. As you can see here, in Java util indicates field number is get, and get set indicating the month. This is a calendar specific value. The first month of the year in Gregorian and Julian calendar is January, which is zero. So that's why zero. In ours, it starts or in January here is zero, and we know that one is January. That is why we have to plus it one. Okay. And another one, it's for current day. We have a calendar that get instance, that get okay, and then calendar that day of the month. That's for the day. Okay, that's it for version 3. So you don't need really like, you don't need to set it manually. You have the system to set the date for your calendar. So that is why it's when we use version 3 in here. um, for version 3, I will just use it for object 3. You know already that that is 12, tomorrow is 12. So right now when you output that run, when you run that program, it's still 28 years old. Yes, because it's still tomorrow. But if your birthday is 11 and that is today, okay, for version 3, right? Version 3 for output age is you don't have to set now, that only the system knows. So now when we run it, the system knows already that is the date for today, and you know already that is 29 years old. Okay, so I guess it's working already. Everything is set up, everything is working for your object, for our class definition. You already bunch of things you already know. Also, instead of having only those things that you only have a class, how to create a class, how you're going to declare class, instance variable, method, object, the new keyword, all those things stuff. But you also have some ideas really into how really actual coding is look like. Hopefully you would help you in your programming adventure journey. Hopefully you enjoy watching my tutorial or video, recorded video. Is it for you guys, for you to learn? Okay, sorry for the late upload. Hopefully you will understand of my busy schedule. So the next video is all about what is the next video on the topic is all about. It's all about lesson 3, which is method in Java, which is more specific on method in Java. Hopefully, I will get it soon for you guys. Thank you for listening. Have a good day. Bye bye. Aja. Bye bye.